Well, our big focus tonight, just a week left for the Karnataka campaign, and as things heat up, Prime Minister Modi and Rahul Gandhi have spent much of their time taking pot shots at each other. Has this become a personality contest? Have real issues taken a back seat in these elections? Well, we are in the home stretch of the Karnataka campaign. There's only a week left before campaigning actually ends and voting takes place on the 12th. And today the BJP decided that their star face, Prime Minister Modi, would address more rallies than originally planned. So instead of the 15 rallies that he was going to address in a span of 5 days, he's now going to be addressing 21 of them. Much of this campaign, though, seems to have become a personality contest and an ugly Congress versus BJP battle. In his rallies today, for instance, the Prime Minister talked about the surgical strikes, about old army chiefs, the Congress's candlelit march for the Unnao and Kathua rape victims and more. Rahul Gandhi accused him in return of not speaking enough on farmer issues or answering on his governance record, saying that he would not launch a personal attack on the Prime Minister. Here are the highlights of the campaign trail today.
अनेक वर्षों तक ये स्वामीनाथन कमीशन के रिपोर्ट को अलमारी में चढ़ा देने का पाप आपकी कांग्रेस की सरकार ने किया था। हमने तो इसको बाहर निकाल करके लागू करने का काम किया है।
किसानों के बारे में तो बोल ही नहीं सकते क्योंकि मोदी जी ने किसानों का कर्जा माफ तो नहीं किया। भाषण देना है तो राहुल गांधी के बारे में बोलते हैं, राहुल गांधी के भाषण के बारे में बोलते हैं। जब भी मोदी जी घबराते हैं वो किसी न किसी पर पर्सनल अटैक करेंगे।
सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक के बाद हमारे वर्तमान सेनानायक, उनको कांग्रेस के एक वरिष्ठ नेता, उन्होंने यहां तक कह दिया कि ये तो गुंडे हैं, गुंडे।
Shocking that the Prime Minister, in his desperation to garner votes in Karnataka, has resorted to falsehoods and lies. Prime Minister of India should understand that the Indian Army defends the borders of the country. It belongs to the nation and must never be dragged in electoral campaigns. I reject with contempt the false statement of Prime Minister that the Congress party had called the Indian Army chief a Gunda.
आप में सब कुछ करने की ताकत है। आप चाहे वो चीजें सिद्ध करने का सामर्थ्य रखते हैं, लेकिन शर्त है कि जब करप्शन की गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट ये कांग्रेस को नहीं हटाओगे, आपके सपनों के आड़े वो रुकावटें पैदा करते रहेंगे।
आपने मुझे ये नहीं बताया कि येदुरप्पा जी जो भ्रष्ट है उसको आपने चीफ मिनिस्टर कैंडिडेट बनाया, उसके बारे में आप अपने भाषण में एक शब्द क्यों नहीं कहते?
बीदर में दलित बेटी के साथ क्या हुआ था, ये सोशल मीडिया में आज भी पड़ा हुआ है। और दिल्ली में कैंडल मार्च निकालने वाले मैं कांग्रेस के लोगों से पूछ रहा हूं, जब बीजल में दलित बेटी पर इतना अत्याचार हुआ तो ये तुम्हारी कैंडल लाइटें कहां खो गई थी, तुम्हारे नेता कहां खो गए?
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister was also in Bellary today, where he shared the stage with one of the controversial Bellary brothers, Somashekar Reddy. The Reddy brothers are accused in an iron ore mining scam. Former Karnataka Minister and mining baron G. Janardhan Reddy is accused in that 16,500 crore scam, over which B.S. Yedurappa actually had to resign as Chief Minister in 2011 after the Lok Ayukt indicted him as well. Janardhan Reddy's brothers Somashekar and Karunakar Reddy are contesting on BJP tickets this time. The Prime Minister there on the same stage as one of the Reddy brothers. The Congress has repeatedly attacked the BJP on this issue. Meanwhile, Rahul Gandhi has also given an interview to the Deccan Herald today, where he has said, I don't want a BJP Mukt Bharat. I will fight them. I'll defeat them. I accept that all voices must be heard, but where I draw the line is violence and hatred. And there's more. In an election speech, on one of his election speeches today, the Prime Minister also referred to two of Karnataka's greatest military leaders, Field Marshal K.M. Cariappa and General Thimayya. He spoke about how the two leaders had been insulted by the Congress party but seemed to get his facts confused. In their Twitter response, the Congress also went grossly wrong with their understanding of military history. Vishnu Shom has more on that story. Vishnu.
Well, there have been several reactions on Twitter to the remarks made by the Prime Minister. Now, here's a fact check on what Mr. Modi said and what history says.
फील्ड मार्शल करियप्पा हो, जनरल थिमैया जी हो, उनके प्रति कांग्रेस सरकारों का क्या रवैया रहा था, किस प्रकार से उनको अपमानित किया गया था, ये इतिहास भली भांति आपको बताता है। 1948 में पाकिस्तान से युद्ध जीता फील्ड मार्शल जनरल थिमैया जी के नेतृत्व में, लेकिन उस पराक्रम के बाद कश्मीर को बचाने वाले जनरल थिमैया का उस समय के प्रधानमंत्री नेहरू और उस समय के रक्षा मंत्री कृष्णा मेनन ने बार बार अपमान किया था।
Well, for starters, the Commander-in-Chief of the Indian Army during the time of the 1947-48 war against Pakistan, the first war fought by independent India, was General Sir Francis Butcher. He was a Britisher, not Thimaia. Thimaia did lead the army in operations in Kashmir, participated in the war, but went on to become the army chief only in 1957. Neither was he insulted by Prime Minister Nehru or Defence Minister Krishna Menon after 1948. That did happen, but it happened much later in 1959 when he was army chief and offered to resign after Krishna Menon as defence minister rejected his views on China's military build-up. But the knowledge of military history among our political leaders, or the lack thereof, doesn't seem to be restricted to the BJP. The Congress spokesperson Randeep Singh Surjewala, and taking on the Prime Minister, tweeted. He subsequently did delete this tweet, but this is what he did tweet initially. Modi ji, better start reading from a paper to brush up your knowledge of history. In 1947, Karnataka Pride General Thimaia was the High Commissioner to the UK between 47 and 52 and not Army Chief. Now, Mr. Surjewala, General Thimaia was fighting Pakistani forces in Kashmir during the 1947 war, as you can see in this very rare footage of the actual operations in 1947. The first Indian High Commissioner to the United Kingdom was in fact Krishna Menon, the same Krishna Menon the Prime Minister had also spoken about in his Karnataka speech today. Now, the Prime Minister also refers to K.M. Cariappa, India's first Field Marshal. Listen in before we fact check.
फील्ड मार्शल करियप्पा 1962 भारत और चीन की घटना आज भी इतिहास की तमारों में दर्ज है और उनके साथ फील्ड मार्शल करियप्पा जी के साथ क्या व्यवहार किया गया।
In fact, Cariappa had retired 9 years before the 1962 war, so the Prime Minister's remarks appear confusing. It is, however, correct that in 1951, Cariappa, who was the first Indian Commander-in-Chief of the Indian Army, had also warned Nehru about China, but was told it's not for the army to decide who the nation's enemies would be. So it's confusing, perhaps not enough research being done about our military history. But in all of this, I've spent some time bringing out that part of our history which our politicians seem to have forgotten about. The first war fought by an independent India in 1947-1948. We've been speaking about General Cariappa, who later became Field Marshal Cariappa. This is an actual soundbite of Cariappa with footage from the 1947-1948 war.
We will not allow Joe Dari to capture land. We've got to stop this, and we will stop it. We must link up with Leh as soon as possible through Jersey Pass, Dras and Kargil. The successful conduct of this operation will mainly depend on how far we succeed in getting the tanks out to the top of Jersey Pass, which is very nearly 10,500 feet above sea level. This kind of thing has never been done before. Anyhow, we'll have a good shot at it.
That is our military history. Perhaps our political leaders need to open up their books and do some real research.
Vishnu, thanks very much for that. Actually, very fascinating how Vishnu brought that out. And you can tell that this election seems to be about pretty much everything, but perhaps the day-to-day issues that concern the people of Karnataka, from our military history, which parties seem to have got wrong, starting with the Prime Minister, to everything else that has been spoken about. And therefore, what is this election really about? Where are the real issues that people are talking about? Joining us on the program this evening, Yogendra Yadav, the president of Swaraj India, Neena Gopal, the resident editor of the Deccan Chronicle. He's joining us from Bangalore. Nivedit Alva, Congress spokesperson, Hitesh Jain of the BJP, Mr. G. Madhusudan of the BJP, and Mr. Danish Ali, the National Secretary General of the JDS, is here in the studio with us tonight. Yogendra Yadav, let me take this to you first. Ever since the Prime Minister has come into this campaign since yesterday, and even before that, are you getting a sense on the ground there, and your party is also a part of these elections now in Karnataka, that the issues that should matter to people, the day-to-day issues, whether it's about farmers, agrarian distress, the issues that concern urban Bangalore, do you think that they're getting enough attention on the campaign trail?
Nidhi, is this the first time this is happening? The same story, it was in UP, the same story in Bihar, the same story in Gujarat. Once again, elections come and go, and not one significant issue of the people of that state get discussed with any seriousness. My problem is not merely the fact that the Prime Minister got his military history wrong. All right, Prime Ministers are not experts. They should normally keep shut. I mean, they shouldn't speak without knowing their facts. My problem is not merely that he was doing with a cheap intent, which is to say, you know, people of Karnataka have been insulted, etc. My real problem is, should we be discussing General Karyappa and Thimmayya in 2018? Karnataka has seen very serious farmer suicide in areas which are known to be rice bowls of Karnataka. That's what we should be discussing. Karnataka has suffered more serious drought than many other parts of the country. That is what we should be discussing. Karnataka was promised 10 lakh jobs a year by Congress party. That is what we should be discussing. Karnataka has seen one of the highest forms of corruption, some of the best reports on that corruption, which the BJP had encouraged, which the Congress failed to take any action upon. And the same Lokayukta institution, which the BJP wanted to kill, was stymied, was controlled by Congress party, was not allowed by Congress party to do anything. Those are the real issues we should be discussing. So I really feel, as they say in Hindi, there is some setting in this match that
nobody wants to talk about the real issues.
Really want to discuss any of the real issues in this Karnataka.
Neena Gopal, is that how you see it? Before I get the rest of the sort of political panel into this, Yogendra Yadav is right. You know, in Gujarat we saw a lot of Pakistan in the campaign, insinuations.
Hi,
that
sorry,
even
I heard only.
Sorry, no, sorry. I'll just repeat that for you. You know, in the Gujarat campaign, there were, all kinds of insinuations made, even, suggestions that maybe the former Prime Minister of India may have been, spying for Pakistan, among other things. So every election seems to set a new low bar. How is this campaign and the way it's playing out on both sides being looked at, in Karnataka itself, which, as Yogendra Yadav rightly pointed out, has a lot of serious issues to contend with?
Most of the issues that confront the Congress government haven't been addressed in this election at all, because I think the basic problems that Bangalore faced, the city that faced so many problems, it had flooding, it had electricity problems, it still has electricity problems, it's a traffic gridlock at most times. That is one of the things, but this farmers' distress is something which I don't think anyone's looking at all. Whether it's the BJP or the Congress or the JDS, everyone mouths the right, the platitudes, but what have they actually done about it? If there are 3,500 people who've died, in the last 4 years, that is a huge number. Have they actually said that there's going to be a minimum support price? Have they actually set a minimum support price for the farmers? So that's not gone anywhere. And you're talking about the huge corruption scandal in Bellary. What no one actually looks at is the huge environmental disaster that is Bellary. I mean, there's a film of dust, people are out of jobs because of the mines being closed. So there's complete distress in Bellary too.
Okay, so let me take this to the politicians on the panel tonight. Hitesh Jain, why is General Thimaiyya relevant to us in 2018, as Yogendra Yadav asked? Why are the surgical strikes invoked again and again by the Prime Minister in his campaign when he has repeatedly said actually in the past that the army should not be politicized? What is happening here except the politicization of the army? Why is this relevant to the people of Karnataka?
Law and order, collapse of infrastructure, abusing Karnataka's pride when it comes to infrastructure in Bangalore. All these issues are important issues, and this form the core of the speech of Prime Minister. When we speak about General Thimaiyya, when we speak about General Karyappa and all, we are talking also about Mr. Devegowda as to how they are being repeatedly insulted by Congress. So what we are trying to portray before the people,
you remember that the Prime Minister wanted to send Mr. Devegowda to an old age home in 2014.
We are also talking about infrastructure.
New love.
Well, I think you should have listened to the speech of the Prime Minister, how he respects former Prime Minister Devegowda, from how he receives him, how he respects his views and other things.
But he
Mr.
wanted to send him to an old age home
that he is in Parliament
just 4
because
years
of Prime
ago.
Minister Narendra Modi.
So now it's changed because you might have an alliance with the JDS.
It was Prime Minister. See. Well, we have said that we are not going to have an alliance with JDS. We are fighting on our own, and we are confident that we are on our own. We are going to comfortably cross the majority line. We don't. I mean, in 6 rallies of Prime Minister, the kind of euphoria, the kind of love he is getting from the people, I think the writing on the wall is very clear that BJP
Jain,
is moving towards a decisive mandate.
We don't need any
support from
why is he talking
anyone.
about,
on our own, we will comfortably
why is he
cross
talking
the
about
halfway mark.
history?
Why
is he talking about history? Why is he talking about surgical strikes? Why is he invoking the nationalism card? Why is he talking, why is he being sarcastic about candlelit marches for rape victims? How is any of this, what about the issues that Karnataka face?
Repeatedly insulted Karnataka pride. 3 generations of Congress have repeatedly insulted Karnataka pride.
So is this just about evoking emotional issues, not addressing the real problems that people face? Are we ever going to grow up as a democracy and have a real debate? I mean, look at the farmer suicides in Karnataka, for instance. They're among the highest in the country. That would have been a big issue for the Prime Minister to talk about.
Well, Prime Minister did speak. In fact, he took a specific meeting. On the video conference, he only spoke to the farmers as to how the government, union government, has come with the schemes for the betterment of the farmer, and how those schemes, once there is a government in the center and the state, how the farmer's condition will get better. Prime Minister also spoke about MSP. Prime Minister also highlighted the attention about how Swaminathan report was not was consigned to the dustbin, and for 10 years you have not. So when you are in power, you do not implement the Swaminathan committee report, and then you try to use. Now, one of the speaker was talking about environment and all in Bellary. Now you have been in power for 5 years. Congress has been in power in 5 years. What have they done? Their simple thing is they will loot and scoot when they are in power, and when they are not in power, they will try to divide and then abuse and mock and abuse and mock. That is what the Congress does. When it is in power, it is only, there is a loot and scoot, and then you just abuse and mock. And when people, when all this criticism is shown, then they are feeling bad. Oh, you're talking about this. Rahul Gandhi challenges, and when his challenge is accepted, and when he is told that you explain in 15 minutes about the achievement, he says, "Oh, you are getting personally." Like he's crying like a child. He's crying like a small baby. I mean, this is, come on, this is elections. You are in power. You stayed before the people. What have you done in 5 years? We will respond. What are your failures and why we should be elected?
Nina, go ahead.
Yeah, I basically want to say that this is, to daub the Congress as the corrupt government is completely ridiculous on this, because the Bellary scam was so humongous. I mean, it's not a small amount of money, and this entire family, the Janardhan Reddy family, Somashekara Reddy and Karnakar Reddy, are both standing, in this government. I mean, who represents the Bellary brothers? Somashekara Reddy, Karnakar Reddy, and various other members of this Reddy clan. Exactly. He shared a stage with him.
From 2009
So
to
how can you say that
2014,
these
it was
loot and
Congress
steal?
government in
Till
the center.
2010,
2014,
no, till
bribing a judge to
Congress
get
was
his
in
brother's
the state.
bail.
I'm
What
sorry,
did they
but
do?
till
They did not find any
2010
material.
there was a loot
saying
and
the
scoop
Bellary
by
scam is
every
one thing,
single
but what
mining
have you done?
family,
You have
whether
been-
he was
you have been
from
in power
whichever
for
political party
5
he
years in
was.
the state
Nina's
and
not
10
been
years
in
And
power
he went
anywhere.
on
She's a
11
journalist. So I think it's not
but
fair
so-
to say Nina's only pointing out as a journalist.
No, I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about Congress.
Well,
I'm sorry, I'm
so let
talking
me
about
ask the Congress.
I'm not talking about Nina.
Nivedit Alva, when are we going to talk about the issues? Is that something that's sorely missing from this campaign?
Nidhi, first of all, thanks for taking up this topic. And what you need to look at first is immediately within 2 days of the BJP's campaigner-in-chief coming into Karnataka, you're having to debate, why nothing else is being spoken about, because the BJP, as usual, reaches far into history books of their own making and of their own writing, picks up inane facts from the past, some good facts, some bad facts, tries to use them to their own benefit and make, utter gibberish of taking away from all the other things on debate. The fact is the Karnataka campaign has been going on for the past couple of months. A lot has been talked about. The Congress has been talking about how we've had an able, stable government for 5 years, how we have been able to maximize a lot of development works across the state, how, there's been development on all fronts. Suddenly you have, it's a corrupt government, it's a this government, it's a that government. Nothing is corroborated, no facts are stated. It's this whole policy now of shoot and scoot where you think you can say anything you want and you can move on and people are just not going to react anymore. No one wants to talk about that it's the #1 investment destination. No one wants to talk about that we're the #1 in crop diversification. GST, which the central government messed up across the state, across the country. That Karnataka, on record, they themselves said that we were the best, and ready to roll it out. No one wants to talk about our universal health coverage scheme.
What
The
about
fact of the
farmer
matter
suicide?
is, right? Since we're talking so much, since we're talking so much about the sudden love for Karnataka that the BJP has, and about how, we have done everything wrong, can they please tell us whether they are approving our Karnataka flag? Can they please tell us where they were when the Mahadai issue came up, when there's a BJP government in Delhi and in Goa, when one nod from the Prime Minister could have solved that issue, where he did not help out? Where were they when they stole all the jobs from HAL and gave it off to crony capitalists, and the whole 40,000 crore investment which was supposed to come in has been sent off? What are their points of view
But Mr. Alva, can I ask you,
on
divestment? Of course, as a party spokesperson, you will highlight what you feel are your government's achievements. But if Rahul Gandhi and you are serious about addressing issues in this campaign, and when you turn around and criticize the centre for its policy, let's say on farmers and the way they're dealing with rural distress, which is very real, then you also are answerable to people on what you have done to address that problem, given the high number of farmer suicides.
The Congress government in... One sec, Nidhi, I got your point. The Congress government, to help out in this case, wrote off all the loans from all the cooperatives and banks. Did the central government back us up by writing off the other loans? Where were they when we raised that issue? When the Chief Minister took the delegation and went to Delhi, met the Prime Minister and asked him for backup on this case, not a single word was said. The Prime Minister did not even utter a single word in that meeting. And they went all the way there and they came back.
So if you have not done enough, why are you blaming the central government?
Let's talk about what they have
done. Point.
So it's very easy to say that the Congress did this and the Congress did that. Second of all, another point I want to make is I personally, as a Kannadiga, as someone who spends a lot of time in Bangalore and in rural areas, I'm fed up with this whole flogging of Bangalore as this city, as that city, that nothing is being done about Bangalore. I mean, you get out of the airport in Delhi and you're stuck in traffic from the airport to Nehru Place for some 12 or 13 km. No one wants to talk about that. Why is Bangalore everybody's favorite
Because
whipping
believe me,
horse?
I've been to
Bangalore
both cities.
to,
It's not as bad in Delhi. It can be bad, but it's pretty bad in Bangalore.
Shore roads. Have any other city in India, do any other city in India have the kind of development that we've seen in the heart of Bangalore with tender shore roads? Has any other city in India, by the same World Economic Forum where Mr. Modi was in a photograph with Nirav Modi, referred to Bangalore as one of the most dynamic cities in the world?
Okay, so I'm going to take the claims you've made to Yogendra and Nina in just a moment. I'm going to take it to them in just a moment. Okay, Nivedit, let me just get Danish Ali and Mr. Madhusudan into this. Danish Ali, is then this campaign now for the next 1 week or so going to be only about emotional issues?
See, that is...
only about Kannada pride and about our history. And I'm sure Pakistan will come into this campaign again very soon. It already has in the form of surgical strikes. It will probably come in again. I don't know what else could come in.
See, that is what both the parties are doing, because they don't want to discuss what happened to the Lokayukta in Karnataka. Lokayukta Act was given by Janata government, and Mr. Santosh Hegde, Justice Santosh Hegde was appointed by Mr. Kumaraswamy when he was the Chief Minister. So, and Mr. Siddaramaiah has defunct the Lokayukta there, and he has created a SIT under the Chief Minister's office. At the same time, sir, I didn't interrupt you. Please allow. Please,
has reopened the investigation into the Bellary mining scam.
Sir, please. He was appointed. That is what I am saying. Mr. Kumaraswamy, JDS government appointed Justice Santosh Hegde. You are not allowing that at least to happen.
You finish. I will speak after that.
Please have some patience.
You finish. I will wait for you to finish.
I didn't disturb you. At the same time,
Sorry.
Mr. Narendra Modi, the BJP promised everything to fight against corruption. After 4 years, he should reply to the people of Karnataka what happened, why you have not appointed a Lokpal. On the farmers issue, you have had in your manifesto promised the people of this country that we are going to give the farmers the 150% of the input cost of the farmer. What happened to that? Already 4 years have gone.
So, are you saying you're the only ones talking about the issues?
No, we are talking about the issues, but you are not, the national media is not taking up the. We see farmers are committing suicide. The common man is asking where are the jobs. The common man is asking when we are going to get those 15 lakhs in our account. See, both the parties, basically what happening in Karnataka is there is a tacit understanding between BJP and Congress to eliminate the regional parties.
Not a tacit understanding between you and the BJP.
Not at all. Both the parties want to finish off the regional parties. That is a tacit understanding between them, because and Congress always have a self goal. Congress comes into the trap. What BJP and Modi sets agenda, they will go and on
very telling that. Comment that. But let me ask Mr. Madhusudan of the BJP in Karnataka there. Mr. Madhusudan, why doesn't the Prime Minister talk about Vikas? Why doesn't he talk about the government's achievements?
Nidhi, I think much before the campaign, Congress derailed the whole issue. Now Yadav is speaking, Alva is speaking, everybody is speaking on so many other issues. But Congress spoke on Veerashaiva Lingayat issue all these 6 months. How is the Veerashaiva issue connected with the election? Congress played the card of religion, and now Congress is crying if BJP puts up some other issues of national interest. BJP workers have been murdered in the state. Congress has got a clear understanding with the SDPI, and Janata Dal has struck an alliance with MIM, and both have got a competitive mood, both are in a competitive mood to please the minority voters.
But Mr. Madhusudan, why doesn't the BJP talk about jobs? Why doesn't it talk about farmers?
Madam, what BJP wants to talk, BJP will decide. Prime Minister will decide.
Of course.
Yogi Adityanath will decide.
Of course he will. But you don't think that you should talk about jobs and farmer distress?
Though Karnataka is a state, Karnataka is not a separate state. Karnataka is a part of this country.